Okay, so it's 10:30 a.m. on the 9th of February, 2023, Thursday morning. And the reason why I'm doing this video, and I do intend to put this video on my YouTube account. Now, sometimes when I do a video, I just do it thinking I'll decide later whether I'm definitely going to post. I'll decide later whether I'm going to put it on. I'll just do it for now, say what I need to say, and I'll decide later if I'm going to post it. And then other times, like today, I'll go, no, I already know in advance that this particular video I'm definitely going to post. So the reason why I'm choosing to do this video, which I actually will put on my YouTube before I get on to the day, is because there are many people in my situation who they wake up in the morning and they're praying to God, of course, and they're feeling this incredible sense of peace, and they're feeling this incredible sort of trust in their destiny and what their journey is. But they've got that like what I had, like a real unwavering, unshakable faith. Yet we wake up and we still got an element of, oh, it just feels just a bit too hard. So even though we're praying to God, and even though we have our full faith, we still got this feeling. And it can come across as heart palpitations. It can come across as like a heaviness in the body, a foggy in the brain, an ache in the body, just a general, sense of malaise. Like we just can't quite get that motivation action like we want to, we desire to. We have the love. We have the love for ourselves. We have the love for our life. We have the trust, the faith, it's all there. Like, say, 99%, right? Or 98%. And then there's that 1 or 2% that's just knocking us out. So it's a small amount of who we are, yet it's got this power to make the day seem so much harder. And we go, okay, I've got to work through this. So what is that? What actually is that? What is it that 1 or 2%, or for some of us it might be 5%, or maybe it's 10%, but what is it that's giving us that doubt, and that doubt's not the right word, giving us that density, that pull down, that not able to just jump up and get into action, that not able to just be in full, wondrous peace, like that real euphoric peace, that real sort of calm peace. Like, what is it that's giving us that trepidation, that palpitation, that fear, that pull down, that drag down, that causing us to not be motivated, energetic, inspired, able to do it? Remember, this is a small amount, yet the words I just described, they're huge. They're debilitating. That 1 or 2% is debilitating. It's debilitating. And yet it's 1 or 2%, or maybe 5%. Like, how many of us have this faith and trust like what I have, and yet we've got this debilitating 1 or 2%? And how does it have so much power? For goodness sake. So I've still got to learn about this. So I thought I'd just do this video to show you right now my heart is palpitating. I'm obviously having a panic attack, okay? So on some level, I'm having a panic attack. I'm having a panic attack because the actual illusion, the illusion of the 3D reality of what I'm living has a lot of variables that are quite draining and demoralizing and heartbreaking. Okay, so I will remind you of my actual physical 3D reality, and be aware this is not the truth of my life, but this is what my eyes see. Okay. So I've still got the washing to fold. I've got a pile there. I've got some pictures there to put up on curtain rod and all that sort of stuff. I'll deal with that later. I've still got some washing over here to fold up. That's mostly just bedding. Most of that's to go on the day bed. Like, that's actually big stuff that would take, like, within 2 minutes. That ottoman would look fine. The pillows would look really nice. But I'm not making that my priority at the moment. I've been doing my crossword puzzle books this morning, so when I couldn't when I couldn't get up this morning, this book is the one that I'm focusing on at the moment, because I'm going to send my husband a prayer, like from the place of Ezra. I'm going to send him another prayer, but I just got to get the energy to actually have the proper ethos within my heart, to the proper real sort of Ezra energy for when I write the text, which I'm hoping will be later today. I was hoping it'd be yesterday, but it just couldn't happen. So I was doing my crossword puzzles this morning. I was trying to get onto this yesterday because I've got the prayer that I want to send my husband, and this one is communication, listening to God's guidance, and so I'm going to send him that one later today at one point. But right now I'm shaking. I don't know if you can see it. Anyway, my body's actually shaking. I'm actually shaking. I'm actually having a panic attack right now because it's Thursday. It's actually Thursday, and so what? It's just another day. So what? So I've got some. Tomorrow's a really busy day, so I just want to make today really powerful. But I wake up sometimes, and it's like a plod life. But I know I've got this long term joy. Okay, I got this long term reward coming. It's like this reward. So I was going to put my YouTube on. This is a really nice picture at the moment, but I've got to put some music on, because I was actually listening to Vision Christian Radio, and then it just went all staticky, and I just went, okay, I'll turn that off and I'll put some music on. And then when I went to put the music on, I was like, what sort of music do I want to put on YouTube? What is the type of music that I think I need? And just even that thought, you can see that my rash is healing. This is a very painful rash. I've definitely got some sort of blood infection going on. So I'm very run down, okay? But what I really feel like, what I really want to impart on this video is, obviously when I woke up this morning, I was like, I've got to do the most powerful thing I can to move us forward. So of course I'm feeding the dogs. Now I've got given this voucher yesterday. I'll just have to put the phone down for a second to show you. A lady turned up yesterday. So when I went to do the walk with the dogs yesterday, I was about to talk about this, but I got a lady turned up, this woman who I met when I first came to Northern. So she came to my house with this voucher for Nadina and Pups to go to Feed and Hire to get the dog pellets. So I was going to go there first thing this morning. Yesterday, by the time I went to pick it up, because she was here till 1, we had a really good morning. We talked a lot about God for hours and just life and rah-rah. But I went to go to Feed and Hire yesterday, and I missed them by about 10 minutes. I took the dogs for their walk, and then this morning I was like, oh, do I go and get the kiblets first so I can feed them, or do I just feed them if I got in the house, do some stuff around the house, and then just go there just a little bit later in the afternoon when I feel a bit more peaceful, because there was just something in my body. I just didn't feel like I could cope with driving the car or being out there. We've got to be really honourable with ourselves when these happen, everyone. Like, I'm really shaking right now. I'm not in a good space. So I don't want to be in a car driving around dealing with people. And also, even though that beautiful friend did me a voucher for $30, it's actually not the amount that the dog food's $51. So I still have to go to the people and say, could you give me a credit for $21? And the Centrelink's tomorrow, so I can show them a photo that it's going in tomorrow. So it's close. If I only owe them $21 for one day, I reckon they're going to say yes. So, but I just felt like I wasn't in the mindset to do that just yet, okay? Because I can feel I'm having a panic attack. And that's why, I've got to do the vagus nerve relaxing. And I had a beautiful shower before. And as you can see, I've put my work clothes on. And what I'm going to do, because I put this meme up on my Facebook. It's Grandma Wisdom and this little girl, this teenage girl. It's a picture. It's not real people. It's an illustration. And the girl said, Grandma, how do you deal with your pain? And the grandma goes, use your hands. And then it's a big meme about when you're in pain and when things are really, emotional, physical. It's a very long meme. It's on my Facebook. I'll put it onto my YouTube channel as well. Use your hands. You use your hands to be creative, like with knitting or, baking. But I use my hands at the moment. So in the future, it'll be more creative stuff because I'm so creative with like wool and paper and mosaicing, and I'm an artist. So when I've got the spaces set up in the future, I will be using my hands to do creative arts. But for the moment, my hands have to be to get this home sorted. So this is what I've got to do today, you see. So you can see now that the kitchen is getting organised from, do you remember how it looked last week? It was just chaotic. You couldn't reach the sink. I couldn't do the dishes. I couldn't make cups of tea. I couldn't cook. So this is exciting, right? This is actually really good for my mental well-being. This is like fantastic. So you can see the table's actually clear. I've got my Bible study books on there, which I had out in the deck, but I just brought them in just so the dogs didn't. No, I don't think the dogs would ever eat all this stuff, but I just want to make sure that they don't. But basically, so that wall's finished for the moment. I've got a bit of a touch-up I'll do over time. Like, I am a perfectionist, so there's actually you will not see it, but there's a little section in here that I'm going to have to sand back and repaint, or I might just over time not notice it so much. But yeah, so this is it. All I've got to do is wash down those walls, and then I can put the first coat on there. So I pull everything back out, so I've got access with the ladder. Put the first coat on, got to obviously wash everything down, it takes a while. Over here I've got to scrape and then plaster, sand back, and then put the first coat on, and then I can get that section there painted. This is phenomenal. This is big. So that's what my focus is today, because that's a simple process. And then you can see I've got some kitchen stuff here that's a little bit accessible, it's a little bit organised, but it's going to get more so over time. Yeah, it's not crazy. This is the pot that I cooked my dog foods. I cooked my dog's rice in. So that's what I fed them today with this lady brought me some chicken breasts. So I chopped up chicken breasts, rice, grated carrot. That's what I fed the dogs today, and it's okay. They ate it all. So I've come to learn, and then, obviously I've got some kitchen stuff here as well. There's a little Alvin resting. So the kitchen's not too crazy. That's not so overwhelming as it has been the last 3 or 4 weeks, okay? It's actually getting better and better and better. But, I've got some online courses that I signed up for that I need to get started because there's a time frame to get it done. And back to the library, okay? So as you can see, this room here is, all I have to do here is ever so lightly sand that down, ever so lightly sand this plastering down, and then I do the next coat of green, and because I had to touch this bit up again, so ever so slightly sand that back, put the next coat of paint on here, sand these back. Now this is a little bit more complicated than the kitchen, but if I can get this washed down, sanded, and get that first coat of enamel on those window frames, that is phenomenal. And I can do that. I can do the kitchen and I can do the library today. And over time, I've got the door frames to get on top of. I've got the door to oil or sand. I've got the table I've got to sand back and oil because it's only had its first coat of oil. I've got the bearer that I have to sand and oil. I've got a lot of jobs that I look at and I know I've got to do that, and that, because my builder friend said to me, you've got to get onto that oiling. It's starting to, that bearer needs to be hydrated. And you can see I've sanded back my table. I've sanded back, put the first coat of diluted linseed oil on, but then it needed second, third and fourth coat. So now I'm going to have to sand it back again because it's been stained. But see that I can put aside, guys. This is what you've got to do. You've got to go, that, it's all simple and it needs to be done, blah, blah, blah. But hang on a minute. What makes the most fundamental, biggest change And obviously it's painting this wall here, because then I can actually put everything up on the shelves. That wall be finished and I can actually put a picture up there. And it's like this room is almost finished. It's not, because of course this is just a temporary kitchen, and of course I'm still pulling up the lino, and of course I've still got to, unpack and organise and try to make it into a functional space. But just getting that paint up on the walls, at least the walls are done in the kitchen. Do you know what I mean? The walls are done. And yes, I've got to do the cornices later. The cornices, I have to paint the cornices. But that, I can live with that for a few more months. And then what happens, of course, is when I do the cornices, it always happens. Some paint drops on the walls. It doesn't matter. You just sand it back and touch it up with the brush. It doesn't matter. It's fine. So my heart palpitations, they're there. It is. There's a multitude of reasons why I'm feeling that. Like, because when I think about everything I've got to do, including now my study, because I've taken on the study and I want to get it done, and including I've got to get onto some paperwork, some admin. I've got forms that I've got to fill out, and but there's no point in me doing that paperwork just yet. I think I use my hands. I'm obviously in pain today. There's obviously something coming up for me that's really. I can't cognitively quite work out why I'm having a panic attack, because there's nothing different about today than yesterday. Nothing different about today than yesterday. In fact, one of the big differences of today compared to yesterday is my rash is less intense and hurting less. And I have a $30 voucher to go towards the dog's food. So I know I can feed the dogs. So that stress is gone. And I had someone really step up and come into my space. And from God's glory, she was like, God, this is God's glory. I'm doing this in God's glory. Like, really step up. And then what does that show me? That showed me that God is bringing people to me to make sure I'm okay. It's also developing my actual real network in Northam, so I'm not so alone and isolated. Like, this lady actually lives in one of the surrounding outer townships of Northam. Like, she's actually in the Avon Valley, and our connection yesterday just showed me she's going to be a true friend forever. Like, I just know it. So today's better than yesterday. Today's actually better than yesterday. All right. So why am I having these panic attacks? Why is my body having this freak out? Well, I don't know. I actually don't know. Okay. But I put my hands to work. I start doing something physical. And I'm not blocking my feelings out. This is not numbing out. This is a difference. Like, when someone's doing something to numb a feeling, that really is not healthy. To numb a feeling means we're not allowing ourselves to heal and learn and grow from what it is our mind and body and soul is wanting to ally together, to connect, to integrate. I'm integrating my feelings. And I've commenced it initially by doing this video. I will put this video on YouTube right now. As I'm painting that wall, this YouTube video will be out there in the ether, and you can all pray for me. And pray for yourselves, and pray for everyone else that's just got so much trauma. And when we're in a process of healing, and we're in a safe place to express it, and we're doing something really healthy with the pain, we don't need to analyze it. We don't need to know what is the reason for this. I could give you reasons. I could come up with ideas of what I think it's about. That's just my mind trying to come up with a rationale of why I'm feeling this. I don't need to know why I'm having these panic attacks or why I'm feeling this deep sadness. I just need to honor my sympathetic nervous system. I need to honor the emotions that are coming up, love them, parent them. Transactional analysis. I need to parent them from a very loving space. You're safe, little one, or feelings, whatever it is, whatever this feeling is, you're safe. It's okay. I've got you. I've got you. I'm holding space for you. I've got you. Okay? I've got you. It's okay. You can let the feeling out. You can come out. You can come out. I got you. And then in the I got you, what I'm actually doing is physically doing something that's mentally moving me forward. So the process of actually painting that wall, kinesthetic, I'm doing a kinesthetic action. So I'm physically doing something with my hands, which is allowing energy to transfer out of my body, and that takes the overload off, like the pressure cooker element gets taken out, right? So all the the anxiety part of it, the panic attack part of it, the freak out part of it, me actually physically doing something, that's out. That's why walking is so important. And so I'm going to be physically doing something with it, because the first thing I'm going to do when I get off this phone, the first thing I'm going to do when I get off this video, is put it onto YouTube. Second thing I'm going to do is fill up a big pail of boiling hot water, because that's how I clean my walls, with boiling hot water and eucalyptus oil. And that takes all the dust off, it takes all the grime off, it makes the house smell really nice, it's a disinfectant. Okay, so I'm going to do that first. YouTube, clean the walls, and then do the first coat of that. Once I've got that first coat on, then I will actually scrape this, sand this, plaster the holes, let it dry, and then when that's drying, that's probably when I'll be inspired to go into the library. And then I'll probably be inspired to do more sanding in the library, a bit more masticing if it's required, but I don't think it is, and I'll get into the painting. Then this plaster over here will be dry. And then when that's done, I come back over here, and then this plaster on this section here will be dry. Okay, and then I can sand it back, put the first coat on, put the second coat on here, because they'll be dry by then. Get it? So by the end of the day, I'm going to have moved forward astronomically in 2 rooms and worked through emotion, not being crippled. And then what I'll do, closer to the afternoon, I'll go and get the dry dog food, which I'm going to now, from now on, when I buy the big bag at $51, because with 3 animals I'm going through it so fast. Now I've decided I'm going to mix it with rice. So, because I give them chicken frames, which are quite expensive, by the way, but now I'm going to actually make the kiblets last longer by mixing it with rice as well as egg. So I've learnt this. I've learnt they're going to eat rice, so that's good. So I can buy a big bag of rice. When I get my money tomorrow, I'll get a big bag of rice, and I'm going to make the bag of kiblet last twice as long. And how did I learn that? By running out, and all I had was to give them was 2-minute noodles mixed with grated carrot. 2-minute noodles mixed with grated carrot and a chopped up chicken breast. Okay, so that's still pretty healthy. And then last night and this morning, rice in the rice cooker. So, and I will equate this to many years ago, because I've had a lot of poverty issues in my life for lots of different reasons. Many years ago, I could not afford menstruation products, and I started using my face cloths and my cleaning cloths. And ever since then, that's all I've ever used, right? For the last 10 years, I've only ever used cloths. I haven't bought those menstruation products that are bad for our body, bad for the planet, and expensive. I just keep using the same cloths over and over again. And there's been many times when I had the money to buy the menstruation products, but I thought, why when I can just use these cloths and keep reusing these cloths? So that was a really good thing that I learned 10-something years ago, right? And now I'm learning with the rice cooker. It's down there because I've got to get some leads, and I've got to work out where I'm going to put the rice cooker permanently. But I realise that I am now going to add rice to their kiblets. And their kiblets is now going to last twice as long. This is a good thing. This is a good outcome that came out from me running out of food for them, okay? There's so many other things I could share with you about what I'm learning from this, the animals, and how hard it is to feed them, and at times, and the responsibility of having animals when you're on a low budget, and the responsibility of having animals, I realise I'm going to have to really wait until I get the chooky chooks, because I realise any animals you get, so the plants need mulch and fertilizer. The plants need to be fed, okay? So all the plants I put in the ground need to be looked after, okay? So the plants and the 2 dogs and the cat, I realise at the moment are quite a lot. And it's like the car as well, the car maintenance. Like I've pumped up the tyres yesterday, and I've been meaning to do that for about a month. Can you believe it? I could tell they're a bit low. Finally did it yesterday, like for goodness sake, seriously, it took me like a minute and a half, 2 minutes. It took me about 2 minutes to bloody pump up those tyres. And then as soon as I drove from there to my home, from the service station to my home, I could actually tell straight away the difference in the car, how it was sitting on the road, just from pumping up the tyres. But the reason why I pumped up the tyres was because I actually helped someone else pump up her tyres. I could see this, there was this old lady, she was struggling with the machine. And I don't think she knew the difference between PSI and KPA, which is, there's these different air pump systems in Australia, and one of them is for push bikes, I think. I think it's for push bikes and maybe motorbikes, but anyways, push bikes, definitely. And then the other one's for cars, bigger tyres. And she couldn't get it happening. And I showed her the difference, and I went, oh, well, now that I'm here, I'm going to pump up my tyres too. And she was telling me, actually, because she's been northern most of her life, or she's been northern a long time. She was an old lady. She was in her mid-80s or something. She was telling me, because I was all covered in mud, I just brought the dogs home from their big walk along the river and everything. And she was telling me that the river used to flow all the time, winter and summer. But since it got dredged about 40 years ago, now it blocks up in summer. And she also was like reminding me, be careful of the algae in the river with your dogs. And it's like, this is a real stress for me too, the algae. Like, I just think, oh, what am I going to do if the river goes down too much? Where am I going to take the dogs for a walk, you know? Because Xena seems to get really over hot, so she loves to jump in the water. A lot of stresses, first world problems, nothing that I'm complaining about, but just it's responsibility, guys, and it plays on my mind. And and Xena's definitely coming to heat because she was licking her vagina or vulva or whatever the other day, and then yesterday my friend was here, and then Alvin's licked it a little bit as well. Went, uh-oh, she's probably coming on to heat in about a couple of weeks or a few weeks or a month. And I'm like, going, okay, well, I'm going to have to, I'll put her, if I can't work out how to get a loan or the money or some sort of thing set up to get Alvin sterilised, I'm going to have to keep Xena in the guest room, and that's a lockable room. Like, there's no way Alvin will be able to get in there. So, I've got my solution. Don't worry, I came up with that about a month ago, and that gives me at least another 6 months. If I can get us through that first heat, that gives me an extra couple of months to get the money together to sterilise Alvin. But these things are very stressful for me. This is my reality. I wake up and money. I have stuff around money, like the amount of stuff that I have to worry about money. And most of it is actually to do with the animals. A lot of it is to do, and my health. Like, I really need, I'm running out of stuff. My medical kit's depleting. And, we all know about the petrol. I've told you about the petrol, how many times I have to be so careful how I use that car. And when I use it, it's on empty right now. It's actually completely on empty, all right? So, anyways, that's right, I've got to go get the dog food today. So will the car make it to the stock and feed place and back? The animals probably, I don't think I'll be able to take them to the river. When a car goes on empty, you do have a reserve of usually about 30 kilometres. So even though it's on empty, I reckon I'll still be able to do one more trip to the river. And then tomorrow's Friday, and Tuesday is cheap petrol day. So it's from Tuesday, it gets cheaper and cheaper closer to Tuesday. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it's really expensive. Sunday, less expensive. Monday and Tuesday are the cheapest days. It's just crazy. I don't know why they're doing that, because people are fucking struggling. The petrol price has gone through the roof in Australia, and I think that's happened in America too. But it's worse than that. They do one really super cheap day, right? One super cheap day. The following day, Wednesday, fucking almost double the price. Like they whack it up to $2.30. What the fuck is that about? So on Tuesday, they've got it down to $1.50, which is still fucking expensive, or $1.67. But then Wednesday, so if you don't have any money on Tuesday for petrol, come Wednesday, boom, you got to pay like heaps more. It's fucking ridiculous, and it stays expensive until about Friday or Saturday. The world's a bit crazy. It's like Stabalising. Don't go into fear. Just don't go into fear. We've got to be really careful not to go into fear, everyone. Like, this is our worst enemy, fear. It's debilitating. We've got to stay in a place of love and faith. And yep, back to, if we do have these panic attacks, as well as constantly keep praying to God and praying to God for protection. Use our hands, be creative, keep things simple, focus on solutions that for that moment have the less physical output. So me painting this wall here behind me has the less physical output for the most maximum gain, because then I can start setting up the kitchen. So just think logically, and trust me, if you can't work it out logically, please reach out to someone. Please reach out to someone. Like, not everyone has a logical brain. I've got a very logical brain, and I'm also used to trauma, and I'm used to having to push through under deep trauma. Like, I've had just a life riddled with trauma. It's one of my lives. It's just one of my experience. It's one of the, and I do know that, I believe firmly that I've had this life to live in order to write the books, do the YouTubes, to teach. Like, I will be getting to a point where I'll be creating curriculums and writing books and creating workshops and creating very organised, very professional YouTube channels. That is actually what is happening in all of these experiences. These YouTubes now, they're very raw. They're just a beginning. It's just me starting. This is actually me getting strong, me surviving right now, okay? Me getting through this stage in my life, which is horrifying. Like, I'm absolutely betrayed by someone who I thought had my back for the rest of my life. Like the man who I chose to marry, who I love with my heart and soul, who loves me with his heart and soul, even though he doesn't yet know what love is completely, deeply. This is a big thing. Betrayal trauma is huge, guys. That's what I've learned. There's a word for it. It's actually a technical term, betrayal trauma. I'm going through something called betrayal trauma. It's horrifying. It's absolutely heartbreaking beyond heartbreaking. I love you all. Thank you. Pray for me, pray for you, pray for the world. Many of us are struggling right now. I'm far from the only one. We've got to band together, support each other, keep authenticity. Got to keep authenticity. All right, keep that vagus nerve de-escalated constantly from the top of the ear, remember? Top of the ear down here. Keep rubbing that behind the top of the ear, down, rub. Takes the